Hello and welcome to today's lesson. Today's lesson we're looking at the second part of our past irregular verbs. Past irregular. I don't know if you remember from the last lesson, I told you that there are 180 past irregular verbs, but they all fall into basically 12 categories. So now we're going to take a look at the 12 categories. We looked at the first 6 in our last class, and we're going to look at the next 6 in this class. So here I'm drawing the boxes for our next 6 categories of our past irregular. The idea is that when you learn these 6 categories, after you learn these 6 categories, then it's much easier to remember the past irregular verbs. So once you learn these, it becomes much easier to remember. So we looked at the first 6 in last class, and we ended with OW changes to EW, like no changes to new. The first one we're starting with in this class is when we drop, oops, made a little box there, but I don't want to do a box, I want to write some words, so I'm just going to change here. Okay, so we're going to drop a vowel and add T, the letter T. Drop a vowel, add a T. Let me give you some examples of this. Feel changes to felt. So here you can see we dropped a vowel, we dropped one E, and we added a T. So drop a vowel, add a T. Let me give you another one. Lose. Everyone remembers this because it's a very famous television series. Changes to lost. Here again you can see we dropped this E here at the end and we added a T. I'll give you one more example for this category. Leave changes to left. And in this case we dropped an A here and we added the T here. The V changed to an F. That often happens. A V will change to an F. Not just in irregular past tense, but also when you're dealing with plural. For example, wife turns to wives. The next category we're going to take a look at is the T changes to a D. Let's look at just one example for this one. So we're trying to go a little bit quicker here to keep your attention. Send changes to sense. Send changes to sent. So here the D changes over to that T. The next category, this is a favorite of all the students. I'm just going to change my color here. This category, we're going to say doesn't change. A very easy category. It doesn't change. I'll give you a hint. These tend to be very common, very short verbs that fall into this category that don't change. Let. Cut. Cut. So you can notice they're very short and they're very common, very short, very common verbs that don't change. The next one we're going to take a look at is ELL changes to OLD, old. L changes to old. So just one example here. Sell changes to sold. Let me highlight this. So the ELL here changes to the OLD here. Next one is A changes to double O. A changes to double O. Let me give you an example of that. Take changes to took. Here the A changes to the double O. Take to took. And our final category out of the 12 categories is the double O changes to a single O. So double O changes to single O. Let me give you an example. Shoot changes to shot. So these are the last 6 categories from the previous 6 categories, which makes 12 categories total. Your homework is to add 3 verbs to each box. Add 3 verbs to each box. And remember, the point or the reason for this lesson is it's much easier to memorize 12 things than it is to memorize 180 things. So hopefully this will help you with your past irregular verbs. And stay tuned for our next lesson. Thanks!